Welcome viewers, here we discussed about 10 amazing blind painters. 10. Michael Williams. Born in Memphis, Tennessee in 1964, but as a teenager, he was diagnosed with Stargardt's disease, which is a degenerative disease that affects people before the age of 20 and affects their eyesight. Williams uses a powerful magnifying glass and leans in closely to the canvas. Williams will spend anywhere from 2 weeks to a year adding detail in the painting. 9. Hal Lasko. Hal Lasko in 2005, when he lost some of his vision due to wet macular degeneration, which causes the central vision to deteriorate. He said that Microsoft Paint allowed him to magnify things enough so that he could see them, and then painted his masterpieces pixel by pixel. Lasko's work is described as a cross between pointillism and 8-bit. He was featured in a Super Bowl ad in 2014, and the day after the Super Bowl, he had his first solo exhibit in Cleveland. On July 6, 2014, Lasko passed away at the age of 98. 8. Keith Salmon. Born in Essex, United Kingdom, in 1959. But in 1989, he was diagnosed with diabetic retinopathy and his eyesight deteriorated quickly, eventually leaving him legally blind. Salmon, who was an active climber and hiker before going blind, continues on doing hikes along the hills in the United Kingdom, then paints the little that he does see and then combines it with what he feels and what he senses about the landscape. 7. Arthur Ellis. In the late 1960s, Arthur Ellis was an art student. In 2006, he went to the doctors with an earache. His doctor quickly figured out that Ellis had meningitis and he was immediately hospitalized, and fell into a coma. Ellis survived, but lost his sight and much of his hearing. After returning home, Ellis was determined to continue drawing. Through a series of trial and errors, he created a technique where he uses blue tack to map out the picture. Then he has a tool that is similar to a barcode reader that he can press against the tube and it will tell him what color the paint is. 6. Sergej Popolsin. Born in Russia in 1964. In 1990, he attempted suicide. He survived, but suffered a serious head injury that left him blind. While still recovering, Popolsin started to teach himself how to draw and paint. In order to orientate himself in terms of space and shape, he sticks pins into the canvas and uses that as a visual marker. Popolsin says that the hardest thing about painting is keeping the image in his head from the first stroke to the last because he can't draw any rough plans before he paints it. 5. Benod Behari Mukherjee. In 1904, in India, Benod Behari Mukherjee was born blind in one eye, and the other was myopic. In 1919, he went to art school, and in 1925, he became a teacher at the art school, and he stayed on until 1949. Throughout the years, his already poor eyesight deteriorated further, and in 1954, he underwent an unsuccessful surgery for cataract removal and was left completely blind. After losing what little sight he had, Mukherjee continued to paint, draw, and sculpt using what he referred to as his inner eye and his years of experience to guide him. Mukherjee passed away in 1980 and is considered a legend in Indian modern art. 4. Jeff Hanson. Jeff Hanson was born in 1993, but as he aged, his parents noticed that there was something wrong with his vision. It turns out that Jeff had neurofibromatosis, and it created a tumor in his brain that was causing him to lose his sight and stunted his growth. How Jeff, who is legally blind, paints is that he puts a plastic goop on the front and the sides of the canvas. This goop leaves ridges when it hardens, and then he uses the ridges to feel along the canvas to coordinate himself. 3. Sargy Mann. In 1973, when English painter and art teacher Sargy Mann was 35, he had cataract removal surgery left his eyesight in worse shape. While going blind is difficult, Mann did find something interesting in his vision's deterioration. Mann managed to paint some of his best work by using pieces of blue tack to coordinate the areas he wanted to paint, and then he has his wife help out with color and tone. Mann passed away on April 5, 2015. 2. Asref Armagan. Asref Armagan was born in 1953 in Turkey with one eye that was incredibly underdeveloped and the other eye was non-functional, meaning that he was blind from birth. Armagan is remarkable because of his use of color, shadow, composition, perspective, and scale. He is able to draw things as if they are fading into the distance, and he can draw objects in 3 dimensions, which scientists thought was impossible for someone who has never had sight. In fact, drawing all 3 dimensions correctly for people who can see is quite challenging. 1. John Bramblitt. John Bramblitt started losing his sight when he was a teenager, and in 2001, just as he was turning 30, he went completely blind. To create his paintings, he touches the objects and the models, or 3D models of their face, and then draws what he feels on a paper with a marker that leaves raised ink. On the canvas, which he makes himself, he redraws his models and the objects with the raised ink and then maps out the colors for painting. He uses oil paints and can tell what color each paint is because of the way they feel, as the different colors have different textures. Bramblitt's work has become incredibly popular and there is a 3-week backlog just for prints of his work. I hope you like this information about 10 amazing blind painters. For watching videos, subscribe, comments, likes and share. Thank you.